it seems to me, I've had the experience of feeling like my body is a very inhospitable place. It's a haunted house. It's noisy, and there's chains and ghouls, and it's like it's or maybe that's not even exactly right. That might make it more dramatic than it actually is, but it's just an unpleasant. It's like a house next to the rail track, the railway, where it's like it just feels like noisy and chaotic and uncomfortable, and you're just constantly looking for that kind of resolution, that relief. And when you were talking about the feeling that you get when you get in your bedclothes, that it's not actually like a victory lap, you're not Rocky at the top of the steps. It's actually just like, oh, good, this like thing, that this unwelcome tension has been relieved. It's interesting, like, oh fuck, I forgot to turn off my thing. Oh shit, it's all right. We've been talking forever. I didn't realize. I felt like we were just starting. I have to scram soon, unfortunately. But,
okay.
But right as we're talking about like the most intimate stuff. But what I was going to say is like, I don't know. Does it feel exhausting and painful and overwhelming to like exist inside your skin?
I don't see it as existing inside of my skin the same way. I get what you're saying. You painted that very well. I get what you're saying. When I'm feeling super anxious, that is in there because I'm in there with the anxiety. That's when I feel
right.
I get that. But no, I have found a way of making myself feel comfortable and happy a lot. So it's neither a victory lap nor is it, oh, I escaped the thing. It's just like, I also had the rituals and still do sometimes, but it's finding rituals that to some may feel illogical, but I found the right combination of rituals to where, you do the things and now I'm okay. I did them. It's not like, so it's just what it is now. And I feel comfortable a lot, but it's exhausting to feel that way. For example, if I want to go out somewhere, I'm going to have. Sure, it's not that big of a deal, but I have to take my pants and shirt off. I have to put another pants and shirt on. I have to leave. I have to come back. I have to wash my hands. I have to put my phone in the phone soap. I have to. It's just like, is it worth doing this thing that might be nice for 10 minutes to then have to like add 5 more minutes of bullshit? So it does keep me from doing things I want to do. I'm already showered. I'm already in my indoor clothes. I don't want to I'm not going to go out again tonight. It kept me from being social. It stopped me from doing, booking more shows, which I since now do. And I still get upset, but I do it anyway. And when I come home, I'm like, I'm glad I left.
Yeah.
But it's exhausting. I connect with that. It's just like, and there's so many there's so much to calculate with everything.
Yeah.
Okay, I do this, but then I have to do this. And a lot of times that calculation is a second, but it's still, that 1 second is still as draining as if it were 2 minutes to figure out this solution. I have to do that. Also, if you have to go soon, we don't have the time now to get into it, but like that, the breaking down of like what all these things mean. And you told me about like as a kid, the obsessive stuff, but I'm still curious if you have time to get into, I asked for an example. You gave the thing with the witch, but how that turned into basically what you were saying, what your craft is and your comedy, like you're like who you are.
Oh,
built into that. Is there an example of?
Yeah. Okay. So, well, first of all, I'm glad that you're able to feel comfortable, and I'm glad that you're able to get out. I think it is an interesting thing that like this creates a kind of permafrost on the world where to get to the fruit, you have to like hack through all the shit that built up in the freezer.
Logically, I know there's nothing there too, which is another weird thing.
I know. Well, that's the thing. So, but I'm glad you're able to find comfort, and I'm glad that also that it sounds like you're being like brave about putting yourself in uncomfortable situations still in the hopes that they will eventually become semi-comfortable situations.
To call it brave feels very nice.
It is brave.
But I do feel that way.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks.
And also, I think I've led a very, to answer your question about how it's informed my worldview and my work and stuff, the obsessive compulsive. From an external perspective, I've led the most blessed life. I have loving parents who are still together. I grew up without any material deprivation or abuse. I'm a white, straight guy in America in the 20th and 21st century. There's like no one who has had better luck in terms of geography, time. You know, I've won all of those unearned lotteries in terms of ease. However, even though my life is so easy by basically every metric, the interior experience has at times been so full of strange horror because of the obsessive compulsive stuff. And I think the good thing about that is I think I sort of operate now under the assumption that everyone has an inner life that may not bear much of a resemblance to their outer life. And I think I'm really interested in that. And I think sometimes it's really funny, the distance between those things, your public performance of yourself and the interior experience of yourself. I think that's often hilarious. I think sometimes it's incredibly moving and beautiful. But that idea that the kind of the person that you can sense but not see, that when you're with someone, there's their presentation of themselves, but then there's their kind of essence and their private. And I think there's something really interesting about you wanting to say to your mom, "Hey, I pictured you naked." Does that mean there's something wrong?
Well, I pictured my friend's mom naked.
Oh, I thought you pictured your mom naked, but whatever, fine. Like you told you, it doesn't matter. Whatever you
I
pictured,
didn't picture my mom naked.
it's okay if you
I
did.
am now.
It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. She told you. It's okay.
Okay.
So that idea, I think that people, I'm being long-winded now, but basically that people feel sort of locked in these barrels and they're kind of clawing at the walls to try to be like, no, I'm in here. Look at me. Like, it's what you were saying. People want to be known. And I think that idea that like, don't believe, I guess it's all just fairly like basic bitch stuff of like, don't judge a book by its cover or whatever. But the idea that people have torments and glories that are happening inside completely out of view, but that might actually be the core drama of their entire life, I think is something that it gave me. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm pardon me for prying. Also, do you have like a couple more minutes?
Yeah, I think so. Do you mind if I send a text message?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Because if not, we could end it.
I have to scram soon, but I'm so enjoying myself. But
well, if you're interested and willing, I would love for you to come back on here. Because
really, I would love to. I'm having such a nice time. I'm
such
sorry.
a fan of yours too, man.
I feel like this is shitty. I thought it was just an hour. I know sometimes the episodes are longer.
Yeah,
but
I said I normally go 90 minutes to 2 hours, but I'm fine as long as we get 1 hour. So I just wanted an hour. We've done more than an hour.
I'm so sorry.
No. It's okay. That's
okay. Let me just text.
Then let's just end it. My last question that I still wanted was like, what you just said. How does that go into your comedy?
Okay.
So all those things and everybody, you're able to now see people not necessarily for who they are, but not fill in the blanks that is who they are, and you're able to realize that there's masking, there's multiple things happening. You find that interesting, perhaps even inspired by it. But like your quickness, your pulling of references, your observations, you're very good at these things. That's what I'm like. Are they coming from that? Like you thought so much that now your thinking is,
I believe,
high endurance.
I believe that there's something that when you have like that kind of obsessive compulsive thing, there's a kind of loneliness to it. It's isolating. It's isolating in that you think like, is there something wrong with me? It's also isolating in the way you're describing, where it's like, well, I can't go outside because it requires X, Y, and Z, right? There's a kind of built-in loneliness for OCD, at least in my experience. What that has created in me, I think, is a real urgency about connecting. And I guess for me, stories, jokes, television, films, art, music, these are things that have made me feel kept company. They tunnel under all of my neuroses and anxieties, and they get me. It's a way to connect like gut to gut, heart to heart with another person.
Yeah.
And I think at its best, art, comedy, etc., is a loneliness killer. And I think it's created a real urgency for me either in dramatic stuff or comedic stuff or whatever, but to try to reach people, like to rip open the kind of packaging and get to the core, and so that I don't feel so isolated, and so that they don't feel so isolated, because I've been the recipient of that as an audience member. I was just talking about this with somebody the other day, where it's like, I've sat in theaters that are dark with strangers, watching shadows and light flicker across the screen. Often the people on screen are dead. And I felt more kept company by those images and shadows, more known, more reassured, more normalized by those shadows in a room full of strangers than I have at family events sometimes. And so I think for me, I have such faith in stories, comedy, etc., to close that impossible, agonizing gap that exists between people.
Man, it sounds so dark, but I get it.
But I don't think it's dark, because
that's
for me,
that's what I'm saying. That's why I made a point to say sounds dark, as opposed to that's just putting on your clean clothes. Like, you're just finding things that are like. I do want to connect to the idea of like that for you. It's less. It's not as storyteller for me. Same, yes, but it's simpler for me. It's bits, doing bits and stuff. It's not just about the silly. It's you get to be who you really are and somebody else inspired by who you really are, and they get to they overlap, and they're just together so much so, and it's a language that you connect to where there are things that I don't want to talk about, things that would make me feel uncomfortable physically or mentally, but if it's for the bit, then that permafrost has melted, or I don't see it anymore. I'm not stopped by it. And I love them so much. And I've said on this podcast before, but like, people have said to me, I don't know if you're joking or serious. And I always feel like those aren't mutually exclusive. Like, jokes and sincerity not only can, but often should exist together, at least in the language I speak, because then it lets me not have to worry about what clothes I'm wearing. And we could just do our bits. And also, like you said, see what people laugh at, see what their references are, see where they like to play, see where you could see, oh, this triggered them, see them. Like, I could see people through bits so much easier. And I also feel so much more comfortable. And I never associated that with OCD before. And it's just a hypothesis for me still, now that you bring it up, but that is very interesting. Oh, why do I love it so much? Is it because it's just great and bits are the best? At least, sure. But is there that added layer of like, it's as exhausting as I might be to all the people I'm annoying, I am now like, at least I'm not exhausted anymore, and reining that in is where the craft and getting older and more self-aware comes from. And like, I don't want to, like you said, ruin somebody else's take or ruin their day or their meal.
Oh, it's so interesting. I mean, this is we should talk more, because I think it's so. There's some quote I think about this all the time these days, where someone said the loudest conversation in the room is the one you're not having, and I think what you're describing is being able to have that conversation and to allow your shadows to kind of play with each other. I just saw this beautiful movie called Perfect Days, and at this one point these characters play shadow tag, where they're trying to jump. These grown men are trying to jump on each other's shadow, and I think like
literally, or the shadow
literally shadows, like on the ground. But I always think about Peter Pan and how like Peter Pan's a permanent boy, and at the beginning of it he's chasing his shadow. He's trying to sew his shadow to himself, but he can't. So he's like permanently a boy. And I do think part of growing up, like what you're describing, is learning how to integrate your shadow with yourself and find some way that they can harmonize, and it sounds like bits for you are a way to begin to do that. And then you're refining it, because of course we do that our whole lives.
Yeah. And then you have to also have that, if you're having that conversation with somebody else, that they're on that same frequency, not necessarily for better or worse. I think for better, but not necessarily, but yeah. And then it's like, and some people aren't comfortable showing you who they really are. So they don't believe that you're showing them who you really are. And I didn't say that without judgment. I mean, literally just like the tools of like, oh, is he just joking? Like, yes, but everything I'm saying is real. I'm just doing it with silly faces and props, like fucking play with me, Anyway, you got to go.
It's
and
really
I'm loving this conversation, and I have so many thoughts on this.
More? I'm sorry to be so abrupt. I didn't realize I've been.
Thank you for staying as long as you have.
Thank you.
I got to get a Polaroid of you real quick. Is there anything you want to plug? You have Instagram
it's
now.
Okay.
We'll put up all of this stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. I'm gonna have you sign that and then leave.
Okay.
Oh, and last, certainly not least,
Gulp.
theme music.
Scoot doo.
Dude, fucking cool. I'm very interested in.
talking about. The obsessive compulsive. I've never met another truly the people that say they're OCD, but I've never met like another person in comedy who has OCD.